He's his Democratic successor. Rod Blagojevich joining me right now, exclusively. His reaction on all of this. Governor, very good to have you. Thanks for coming.
Hi, Neil. Thanks for having me.
You just think this is ill-timed and just ill, period. Explain.
Well, I think it's a dirty, rotten shame, and it's a rotten thing to do to the people after they just elected you. A 66% income tax increase on people during a time when most families are struggling to keep their heads above water or can't even think about trying to get ahead. It's not only going to be a hardship on families, but it's going to be bad for business, and it's going to delay the economic recovery that our state one day hopefully will have, and it'll drive jobs out of our state.
What would you have done, Governor, if you were still in office and faced with this dilemma? How would you have closed that gap?
Well, I was governor for 6 years. Every year I balanced the budget, every one of those 6 years, and I resisted the interest groups in my own party who kept wanting me to raise the income tax. I wouldn't do it, and Pat Quinn broke a promise when he was my lieutenant governor, and now he's whacking it to the people, and he's lying when he says it's going to be temporary. These are never temporary. The last time we had a temporary surcharge in Illinois was 1992. That became permanent in 1993. No, this is going to be what it is. It's going to almost double taxes on families. If you're a family earning $40,000 a year, Pat Quinn is now taking $800 away from you, and that's disposable income, if they even have it, that they would spend on a local business, that they might spend in buying a pair of shoes for their kids that they won't now have, and as a result of that, the local business is going to be hurt. There will be less jobs, and as you've indicated, other states are salivating, like Wisconsin and Indiana, our neighbors, because they see a lot of the businesses in our state likely to leave and go there. Illinois used to be an attractive place.
The governor has said, Governor, that he was kind of running out of options here, and that there was no way he could cut spending to close that gap. He said that he had done a great deal of cutting. We tried to get him to no avail. This ended up being the only option. You don't think the revenues will be raised via this tax hike?
A couple of things. First of all, they did this in California. When Governor Schwarzenegger left office, he faced a $26.3 billion deficit. He raised the income tax there, and then 1 year later, the new governor, Jerry Brown, has to deal with, guess what, a $26 billion deficit. It doesn't close the deficit because it hurts the economy. What this governor should have done, what Quinn should have done, is what I was hoping to do, and that was, you take an asset like the lottery, which we now have, we should lease that like they do in England. You could generate $10 to $12 to $15 billion. If he wants to raise taxes, if he has a hankering to raise taxes, he ought to have raised taxes on the big casinos here in Illinois and the 10 casino licenses so the people get their fair share out of that. He could close corporate loopholes. Big banks in my state don't pay sales tax on the software that they purchase, even though ordinary individuals do that. He could cut and should cut the size of government. I cut 13,000 state employees. He's increased the size of government. And Neil, here's another sinister thing. Within that income tax increase that he says is only temporary, and everybody knows that's not true, a 66% increase is a provision that increases spending by 2%. So he isn't just trying to balance the budget with this money. He's going to increase spending, and he's basically saying to the people, I've got a political debt to pay to the Public Employees Union, and so therefore I'm going to make your lives harder, your challenges more difficult, and you're just going to not be able to take your kids to a movie or go to a restaurant. You're just going to have to work harder and longer so we can take care of the special interests in our state capital.
All right. You know, agree or disagree with you, Governor. I forgot how good you are at this stuff. You know that? Governor Blagojevich, good seeing you again.
Good seeing you, Neil. And it's unfortunately a very bad thing to do to people, and I feel sick about it. I wish I was still governor so I could actually do something meaningful about it.
All right. Well, I think, you know, yay or nay on what people think about you. I think you're pretty good at articulating a position. Governor Blagojevich, be well, my friend. Now to the Illinois state lawmaker who voted